Yes, good morning. I have with me Ms. OBJ, who's a consultant with consultant data center architect with IBM Global Technology Services with IBM, the ASEAN region. Firstly, let me welcome you to Data Center Green Tech Conference in Singapore. Thank you very much for doing a presentation there. Ms. OBJ has just completed a presentation on data center automation technologies and next generation data centers. What I'd like to do is have a little bit of an understanding of where IBM are heading with green technology, how you go about advising clients out there, whether they might be universities or government or corporate organisations with their existing data centers, or maybe retrofitting old legacy type facilities that they have to take advantage of new efficiencies and trends. So if you could get a basic understanding of what your role is and where IBM are heading.
My role is basically an ambassador in terms of the green technology that is available. IBM have embarked into this region since 2006 together with the National Environmental Technology. Because of the global warming situation, we want to be socially responsible for the energy usage. And data center by far is one of the mechanisms that is actually using a lot of energy. 5% according to US survey, 5% of the data center are actually generating using more power compared to 350,000 numbers of households. Right? So at this data center are going to utilize the energy about double in 5 years' time. So if we don't cut down in terms of energy usage, we are going to lose the benefit and advantage of energy material available to us to run our business. And my key point to the audience is really standardize, automate, optimize, virtualize, and the technologies are already available out there. So just now on the stage, I actually promoted data center in a rack or data center in a container. Just like how you buy your handphone. You basically buy things off the shelf because the scientists and researchers have already think through all this so that you are able to get your processing capability at the fastest means, and yet you don't have to spend a lot of unnecessary money engaging, designing, custom made to your needs. Then we are able to actually leverage on the existing environment to try to speed up the process without having to build it. So that will help the business in terms of how they are able to be resilient and they are able to scale.
That's very good. You touched on just a moment ago about energy and how the demand for energy in data centers is increasing exponentially because of the result of higher density server environments and storage and SANs and so forth. So we're seeing a lot denser energy consumption to 20, 30 kilowatts per rack in a smaller environment. So I suppose the question is there, as a consultant, data center consultant for IBM, what type of energy efficiencies would you be advising your customers there in the high density type of environments?
Most of the data center today are actually at power utilization efficiency of about 3 to 3.5 according to the Green Index.
Yeah.
If you were to optimize it with green technology, the intent is to achieve a green PUE numbers between 1.5 to 1. That means to say whatever allocated to that space, the data center space, you have to start increasing your IT knowledge. That means to say, example, today's old data center, power allocated to the IT component is only about 35%. We'll increase that allocation to the IT component to 60 or 65% or even higher, so that the energy are diverted to support the processing rather than to support the surround environment. The surround environment have to shrink. That means to say instead of into a big data center, but you put the same processing capacity into a smaller space, but the energy as well as the cooling and things like that is directed only to where the IT component is, rather than to support the surround.
Okay, so I suppose the key takeaway is better utilising, in some cases, legacy data centres, the power and the cooling capabilities to reduce those costs down. So when you're looking at a legacy data center that's been built about 15 years ago. We might have had the old servers which used to take up better amount of power. How do you go about best advising people with that data center to upgrade in the most cost-effective manner? Because budgets are a big thing, and trying to retrofit can be rather expensive. So if you've gone into one of those legacy data centers, what are the key things that you look for to best advise them on to better utilise the power and community distribution?
Some legacy data center, in terms of optimizing the usage of their environment, most of them are not there. Right? So optimizing means basically remove what is not necessary in the data center, and also start to pack more into the space. The reason why I say that is typically if you were to allocate a 3 kilowatt of power to a rack, usually only about 1.2 or 1.3 kilowatt is being used. That means you still got about 1.7 kilowatt that actually can be utilized, but most people will not use it and do not know how to use it. So if you start moving things like a console, a keyboard and a mouse out from the rack and start putting in a processing engine into the rack, you can increase a 3.5 kilowatt usage to maybe 2.5. Even that has already improved 1.3 kilowatt over the original usage of 1.2. So you start to divert the energy allocation, because mouse, keyboards and console doesn't really need that much of the energy. It is the processing engine that actually needs the energy. So move out all these things that is unnecessary in the data center and start optimizing it. We are not even talking about the 20, 30 kilowatts rack. The design of the 20, 30 kilowatt rack is basically asking the customers to put more processing engine inside one single environment. And because if you are able to put 40 or 80 servers inside one rack, immediately you reduce the data center footprint by 8 times to 10 times. And you reduce the maintenance cost of the space, you reduce the rental of the space, you reduce the unnecessary choking up the space because of all the excessive cables and things like that. That will make the data center very, very efficient. Not only from the power point of view, but from the expense and operation.